This is Dallas, Texas at 12 a.m. And this is Reykjavik, Iceland at 12 a.m. How is this even possible?
It's all because it results effectively in eternal sunlight.
I run a production company in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. So most days I'm behind the camera telling the stories of other people. But this time, I'm actually turning the lens around. You see, my wife and I love to travel. So when we found very affordable tickets to Iceland, we purchased them without a second thought. We were thinking, wouldn't it be amazing to experience the Northern Lights in person? Well, once we secured this amazing deal, we found out that we were not going to be able to experience the Northern Lights in Iceland because the sun was not going to set at all during our visit. For the most part, at least. So that made me ask the question, how is this happening? Why is this a thing? Why does the sun, generally speaking, doesn't set in this region of the world during the summer? And that's the main question I'm gonna try to answer in this video. But I'm also gonna try to answer another question, which perhaps is a little bit more personal and more important. And it is this: why should you try to experience this amazing phenomenon for yourselves? Okay, let's do this. For the sake of providing an oversimplified explanation, picture our planet wandering in space. Easy enough, right? As you might know, the Earth isn't standing straight up as it spins, right? It is actually tilted at about 23.5 degrees relative to the sun. This means that during the winter months, like in January, the northern hemisphere is tipped away from the sun. And that results in less sunlight, shorter and colder days. Makes sense, right? On the flip side, during the summer months like July, the northern hemisphere is tipped towards the sun, and that results in more sunlight, hotter and longer days. Makes sense, right? But here is the relevant part about Iceland. Iceland is geographically located very close to a region of the world known as the Arctic Circle. But what is the Arctic Circle? Well, it is this imaginary line sitting at the top of the Earth where, for a part of the year, the sun never fully sets or never fully rises. And Iceland is just right below it. As you can see in this illustration, when the northern hemisphere is tipped towards the sun, the Arctic Circle and adjacent regions never quite stop receiving sunlight as the Earth rotates on its axis, right? And this is why many of these regions receive up to 24 hours of daylight during the summer. So, as you can see, it is very overcast today. And on top of that, it is basically 10 p.m. right now. And you can still see so much daylight. I've never been in a place like this. Which reminds me of the second question I wanted to answer in this video, which is, why should you care? Why should you visit a place like Iceland during this time of the year if you ever get the chance? Well, there are a few reasons as to why. First and foremost, Iceland is stinking beautiful. And it is arguably one of the most stunning places on Earth. And by the way, this is Future Jay talking. I already went and came back from Iceland. But you might say, well, there are many beautiful places on Earth, right? So what's so special about Iceland? And you will be right to say so. But there are not that many strikingly stunning places on Earth you can experience with nearly 24 hours of daylight. That's the picture I'm trying to convey here. When you visit Iceland during the summer, you also get to experience a lot of it in a relatively short period of time because of the midnight sun. That is to say, your days are extended just because of the midnight sun, so you get to do a lot more during the day. And I say that after traveling there with a baby, if you know what I mean. You truly get to do a lot in a relatively short period of time because of the midnight sun. Secondly, you can technically experience the same effect in the southern hemisphere as well during our winter months if you happen to live in the northern hemisphere. But those regions of the world tend to be very remote and really hard to access, so practicality and accessibility is another big reason as to why you should try to experience a phenomenon like this in a place like Iceland. And finally, while there are a few other accessible Arctic countries where you can witness the midnight sun, and you can even make the argument that there are some countries like Norway, for example, where you also get to experience the midnight sun in a fuller sense because Norway is actually within the Arctic Circle, unlike Iceland. That being said, Iceland is still arguably one of the most geologically diverse countries on Earth, despite its small size. All of these reasons combined, in my opinion, allow Iceland to offer something uniquely magical. You know, the freedom to simply hop in a car and just drive. You'll get to experience so many things in all of their glory. I'm talking about towering waterfalls crashing with thunderous force, wildlife roaming freely across vast open spaces, in landscapes that feel like they are from another planet or from a movie set. In short, Iceland is full of unparalleled and diverse beauty and majesty, and there's hardly anything in the entire world like it. Experiencing the midnight sun in Iceland was surreal. It wasn't just about seeing the sun at midnight. That was super cool, don't get me wrong. But it was about what that light did to everything around us. It changed the pace of our days, it stretched out our sense of time, and it gave us permission to linger longer in nature. We were not racing the sunset, we were walking alongside it. So yeah, I came here looking for answers about the sun, but what I found was a deeper appreciation for light, time, and the rare gift of being present. If you ever get the chance, go ahead and take it. Go see the place where the sun never sets, because trust me, it will light something up in you too. I appreciate you watching. That is a wrap for today. See you on the next one.